Happy Monday. All right, we're gonna get a little deep on this Monday. I found that we learn better by video, by audio, and then also by a little bit of visual aid. And so I think I'm going to start a little bit in the behind the scenes. What do I look at when I'm adjusting somebody, when I'm adjusting your kiddo? What do I see in the exam testing? What do I see in the scans? Like when we have these scans that I'm doing, that's what gave me the the reminder of like, yeah, I bet you have no idea what we're talking about here. So in this example, and I'm going to post the scan, I probably later on I will actually do some screen share so you can see what I see. And of course I can't fully describe it because my hands and my heart tell me so much. So every first visit, unless somebody's really uncomfortable and not really sure, I adjust them. And that adjustment is my exam, like my overall, hey, this is how your body feels. And a lot of times it doesn't fully make sense because there's no quantifiable data, meaning you can't see a test and put it together for it. But that's where I feel everything. Now, put that into exams. This also neurological testing that we do the first day, and I can have a really, really, really precise idea as to what is going on with your kiddo, in this case, your kiddo. And so I have the scan on my phone and it doesn't show up very well, but when we have stress in the upper spine, and I'm going to just show you what this might look like in the upper spine, right? Oops, there. There's different colors that show the level of interference between the brain and what the brain's trying to tell the body. And so when we see brighter colors, red, maybe even black, we know that there is an extreme amount of stress in the spinal system and it's affecting how the brain works. That's part of the nervous system and therefore affecting how the rest of the body is actually healing. And so after I adjust somebody, examine them, and I can see their scans, I know exactly where they're locked and loaded. And so for this kiddo, a ton of stress in the right upper neck. Okay, it's switched because this looks like left, but it's right. I look at that first and initially 100% know that he is absolutely tapped. Probably on the verge of a breakdown, a meltdown. If this is a 4-year-old, you're probably seeing some behavioral things, but if it's a 8, 10, 15-year-old, you're probably not, because they're not expressing themselves, especially if it's a boy. So it's just ruminating in them and they're struggling with fitting in, maybe friends, not feeling safe, and safe, whether it's with their thoughts or just safe at home with certain traumatic situations. And the other big thing I'm looking at is what's called heart rate variability. So I can see how stressed is this kiddo at rest. Like you're sitting there for 2 or 3 minutes, just sitting there testing. That should not be a stressor, right? Unless your brain and body is so tied up in that adrenaline mode and we don't have the vagus nerve that's calming us down. These are really big words, but two of the biggest things I see is overloaded brain and the inability to handle the stress that's been put on it. Doesn't necessarily mean it's good or bad stress. None of that that's all relative based on what the child can actually process. So if there's trauma in whatever way, it doesn't need to be like any kind of abuse. It could just be something that person perceives as traumatic. If there's trauma, there's going to be something in that body that is holding the trauma at a cellular level. And the more stressors that add on to it, the less threshold we have to handle it. Now you make that a 10, 12, 14-year-old boy, and he's also struggling with puberty, and naturally there's social stress this time of the year. There's not social interaction that's like forced. So if your natural ability or if the kid's natural ability is just to kind of retreat and not enter themselves into social experience, they're going to feel really lonely. And that's what I get to see in that first day, is like, how does their body feel? Does it feel like it's in ease, or does it feel like it's really stressed? And how it comes out of that kid is very different based on the environment and the situation. Now, my whole purpose of what I do is that every adjustment is like a Control-Alt-Delete for the brain, or maybe you think of it as an Etch-a-Sketch. Shake that Etch-a-Sketch, it's like a blank canvas that you can now draw back on, right? That's what every single adjustment does. So it allows the brain to reset. It allows the body to be clear. It allows the breath to restore, organ, cell, tissue, muscle to flow, to heal. That's where miracles come from in chiropractic. That like is in essence what it is. Now I can see the start of a child and I can say, whoa, he is super stressed. We have to dial down his system, or you're going to start to see anxiety, like strong depression, or maybe they're already medicated. And in, the world that I've seen, I guess, for the last 15 years, it is always better for a body to not be medicated than to be medicated if it has the ability to do so. And so I'm always looking at that body as, you are brilliant. Why is it not working how it's supposed to? How can I help it heal? How can I reset it every single time so that it can work without any resistance and any interference? And that's where people will say, wow, after that first adjustment, he was really calm, or he slept all night, or it didn't take him 2 hours to fall asleep, or he woke up and he wasn't like really tired and crabby and agitated. Yeah, that's what the body wants, because it's brilliant. It wants to work without resistance, without interference. It wants to be strong. It wants to adapt. But with so much stress, trauma, anything that can interfere from a body function standpoint, if that doesn't get eliminated, it's just going to keep on creating more stressors, and it's going to create more dis-ease in that body. So I hope this may be valuable, just to be able to see a little bit behind the scenes, Tiff, as they're like, how did you even know that? I just, after so many years of working with kids, working with families, I just know. And so I hope a little bit of a sneak peek to see, like, hey, this is what this mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, kiddo is struggling with, and this is how it can shift and how it can heal, that maybe I can help you have more hope and help create possibilities and options for solutions. At least this might not be the solution, but it may make you think that what you're dealing with right now is not something you want to continue to deal with, and that it's definitely not normal. So if you have any questions about even just specific things, not necessarily, can you help my kiddo with this? I mean, yes, that's fine, but I don't know their story, right? So the more I can give you a little bit of a glimpse into like befores and afters, makes my heart sing, number one. And hopefully it'll show you all of the possibilities that could be for your kids, for you, whatever may hold you back or may interfere with your brain thinking that life has to have some limitations. Like what if it didn't? What if life didn't have limitations? Or what if you didn't see them as the barrier to progress? I talk a lot about happiness as progressing towards something. And so when we just lay in the content world of, this is just how it is, or I've talked to 5 of my friends and they have a kiddo struggling with the same thing. Hey, nowadays, for sure, that doesn't mean it's normal, guys. Like our kids are taking a huge beating in this phase right now because we're stressed and our body language changes and they're trying to figure out what is happening and do I even feel safe in the world right now? And can my body handle the stress? And people are frustrated and crabby and stuck in fear, and that affects how our brain works, and that affects how it works not only today but years to come. So if you have any questions, you can shoot me a private message too. Hey, my my kid's struggling with this, what would you do? How would they be affected? What have you seen in your years of experience? Because I think the more we can just talk about possibilities and opportunities and solutions, the more we have hope that it maybe doesn't have to remain this way. So I hope this was helpful, and just make sure you pay attention to your kids, and right now pay attention to their posture and their language. And are they hanging out with their friends, or are they staying in their room all day? Are they craving junk, or are they eating well? Like, all of those things are showing you how connected that person is. And a disconnected body will create a disconnected world 100% every single time. And so my goal is to help reconnect the body so it can reconnect them to their world. Okay, bye.